This workout's called Heck Yeah, Let's Wunda. I think it says it all. Let's get started. We're gonna go into a plank position with our hands at the top of the mat, stepping your feet back 4 inches apart parallel. And you just wanna get a good handle of the connection to the middle back and lengthen the spine. We don't wanna pop the hips up or allow them to hang down at all. We wanna find a beautiful diagonal. Once we found that connection, we're gonna go into a little downhill ski. So I'm keeping the knees and toes 4 inches apart parallel as I shift the weight back and deeply bend the knees. So it's an exhale on the way back and an inhale on the way forward. Exhaling as you crease at the hips. Inhale as you bring it forward. Collarbones are wide, waistline stays long, and you want to keep your pelvis relatively low. It might come up a bit as you send the knees back, but we don't want to pike the hips up. Exhaling as we lower down. Inhaling to lengthen. Last time to the left. And last time to the right. Come back into the plank at center and bring both knees down to the floor. We're going to use a yoga block if you have one. We're going to place it under our right hip and use it as a spacer to get us up and off of the floor. So the right hip is going to be on the yoga block, right forearm goes down on the floor, and then we're going to float both legs up so that they're hovering off the floor with length. Hips are stacked one on top of the other. You want to get the head in line with the spine and find beautiful extension from the toes through the crown of the head. First thing we're going to do is a small scissoring movement. So we're going to keep the legs within the frame of the mat. We're not going to swing the legs super long or super wide. It's a really controlled mid-range of movement that helps us connect to our core. Lengthening as we work, lifting the bottom ribs up so that we don't hang out in the shoulder. Let's do 3 more scissors, and then we're going to go into a double leg raise. Stack the legs one on top of the other. From here, we're going to lengthen and lift the legs. It's a very small range of movement with really intense focus through the waistline. So we're lengthening and lifting, making sure that we don't send the legs so far up that we drop the bottom ribs down. So think about reach as if it were a hammock, and your toes are one end and your head is the other end, and you want as much length as possible while you're doing the lift. For 2 more. And bring it all the way down. All right, we're going to use that yoga block for some teaser organization. And what we're going to do is actually place the yoga block in between your thighs. And that's going to help us stay organized and keep the legs plugged in to the abdomen. Knees are bent, feet are flat. And to get us started, we can use our hands behind our thighs. And we're going to float up into a teaser position. So I'm leaning back with a rounded spine and floating the legs up into a teaser orientation. So the idea is here, guys, that we want the legs to feel heavily sinking into the hips. And we want to use that yoga block as a spacer to keep the knees 4 inches apart, parallel. And we want the toes aligned with big toe, second toe. Now you can hold here, giving your body support as we work, or you can always choose to send your arms long at your sides. Either way, we don't want to squeeze on the yoga block. We want to give it some breathing room so we can find more connection to the core. We're going to hold for 6. We're breathing. We have 3. This is 2. And bring the legs all the way down. All right. We are going to set the yoga block off to the side, and we're going to go into some leg sweeps on our right leg. So come into a 4-point kneeling position. And we're going to straight away take the right leg off of the mat in a turned out position. So my big toe is touching and it is in a turned out position. Hover that leg off of the floor and it's going to sweep forward. It doesn't have to come far. And then we're going to lengthen that leg back as we bow forward. Your elbows might touch the ground, they might not, but we're creating a really nice diagonal line here. That's an exhale. Inhale as we allow the leg to come forward, swiveling the inner thigh. Exhale, narrow the ribs around the spine as you come back into the bowed forward diagonal. Inhaling for length as you sweep that right leg forward, spiraling the inner thigh towards the front side of the mat. Exhaling as you lower down. We're going to do 3 more here. Keeping the ribs in line with the pelvis as we work. Keeping the middle back connected and breath in between the shoulder blades. This is going to be our last one. We're going to hold it down and do a small leg pulse right from where the glam line is, where our hamstrings and our glutes meet, creasing on the underside of your seat for 4. This is 3. This is 2. And bring the right leg all the way down. Okay, we're going to go into a lunge. We're going to use a slider and a yoga block if you have them. So I'm going to use the yoga block for a bicep connection, and I'm going to use the slider to help me mimic what it feels like to do this on a WundaFormer when we are in studio. So I like to have the thumb over the top and the pinky around the bottom and the 3 fingers in the middle. We are going to have the right foot on the mat and left foot comes onto the slider. From here, we're going to go down into a lunge and give a little bicep focus as we do so. I'm imprinting in on that yoga block and then inhale as we rise up. Exhale as we lower down. You can see that the shoulder blades are melting down and the yoga block is floating up. Inhale as we rise. Exhaling down. Inhale, floating up. Doing your best to keep the right knee aligned with big toe, second toe, and in front of the crease of the ankle. Activating the biceps by imprinting in on that yoga block as you work. Last 2 here. We're going to hold it down for some carriage pulls. Last one, we're going to hold it down. Allow the arms to extend in front of you. Again, still imprinting in on that yoga block. Exhale, soften the left knee to draw it in. Inhale as we lengthen back. We're going to do 4 of those total. Exhale as you bring it in. Inhale as you lengthen back. Thinking about the inner thighs like magnets, assisting each other on the way in and resisting each other on the way out. Last one, leg fully extends, and we come all the way up. We're going to go into some supine jumps, mimicking what we do on a jump board, and we're going to have the yoga block between the ankles. So it's going to go the wide way in between the ankles as we lower down onto our back. First thing that happens is we're going to interlace the hands beneath the base of the skull so you're in a shallow abdominal curl. From here, we're going to ask the inner thighs and the abs to talk to each other to bring the legs up into a tabletop position, and we're going to flex the feet. As we send the legs long, we're going to open the front side of the ankles, and that yoga block allows us to stay connected to the deep abdominals via the inner thighs. Inhaling as we reach, exhaling as we bring it back in. We're improving functionality through the ankle joint also as we go from an open ankle on the extension to flexing the ankles as we draw the legs in. Try not to squeeze on the yoga block. You'll actually find more effort through the inner thighs and the deep abs if you can give it a little breathing room, almost dropping it. We're going to do 2 more like that. This is going to be our last one, but we're not going to move our position. We're going to stay down on the mat. We're going to take that yoga block out from the ankles. We're going to put it into the hands again like we had it before for a bicep focus. And we're going to imprint in on the yoga block, activating through the upper back and the chest. And now we're going to go into single leg reaches. So we're inhaling, leg goes long, exhale, bring it in. Inhale, leg goes long, exhale, bring it in. If it's aggressive, you can always set your head down onto the mat. Imprinting in on the yoga block the whole time, reaching for length from crown of head through the toes. Last time on the right. Last time on the left. Both knees come in and the head goes down with control. We are going to keep that yoga block with us and go into a wide plie with a torso rotation. So we're going to step our feet wider than our shoulders in turned out position on the mat, holding that yoga block as we've had it. And we're going to lower down into a plie with the yoga block at our chest, actively imprinting in on the block the whole time. Exhaling as we lower down, inhaling as we bring it up. Now we're going to add the rotation. We keep the torso upright, exhaling as we rotate. Inhale, bring it back up to start. Other side. Exhaling down. inhaling to bring it up. So we're not rotating super far. It's not about how far you rotate, it's about keeping your body organized, keeping your sternum right over your pubic bone. You can think of your shoulders over your hips. As you exhale and rotate, inhale as you rise with lightness. Knees are aligned with big toe, second toe. And we're finding middle back, arms, shoulders, and chest by imprinting in on this yoga block. It doesn't take something super heavy to find a really deep connection. Last time to the left. Last time to the right. We're going to go into a lunge on the other side. And bring it all the way up and in. We're going to keep the yoga block to activate our biceps. Left foot is on the mat and right foot goes onto the slider. We're going to take the arms again into a 90-ish degree bend, plug the arms into the middle back. Exhaling as we lower down. We're going to allow that yoga block to glide up a little bit. Inhale as we gather and rise all the way back up to standing. Exhale, left knee creeps just in front of the ankle, aligning with big toe, second toe. Inhale as you bring it up. You want to think about that rear leg also. It's not just getting a free ride. We want it to be light so that the core is really working and activating. And we want to find the inner thighs working together to lower down, resisting the lowering down, and drawing together and assisting the lightness and the lift on the way up. Let's do 2 more full range of movement. This is our last one. We're going to hold it down. And now we're going to go into 4 carriage pose. So with a light right foot, we're going to exhale, draw it in. Inhale as we lengthen back. Exhale as we draw it in. Plugging the arms into the middle back. Exhale in. Inhale for length. This is the last one. Exhaling to bring it in. And inhaling to send it all the way back out. 2 straight legs at the top. And we're going to go into our low leg sweep. So you can set the yoga block aside. Hands come onto the mat. And the left leg reaches long and swivels out to the side in an external rotation. As you exhale, the elbows bend. They're going to lower down to the mat as the left leg reaches long behind you. And then as we inhale, we're going to sweep that leg forward. Exhale as we bring it back. Notice that that left leg is doing a lot of rotation. So it's not just, thinking about swinging forward and back to match the shape externally. I want you to really visualize that femur, that thigh bone turning out as you bring the leg low to the floor and turning back to parallel as you bring it towards the diagonal, towards the sky. A few more here. Inhaling as we swivel forward. Exhale as you lengthen back. This is going to be our last one, and then we're going to do the hold. Lowering all the way down. We have a nice diagonal line in the body and a little lift from under the left smile line right under your seat. So really think about length rather than height as we do this. Last 3, last 2, and bring the leg all the way down. Okay, we're going to find that yoga block again if you have one, and we're going to use it to lift us up off the floor for the side lying scissors, okay? So we're going to put the left hip onto the yoga block, left forearm goes down, and we're going to lengthen the legs all the way off of the mat. From here, we're going to go into a small scissoring movement. So we're keeping that range of movement inside the frame of the mat as we lift. So we want to make sure we don't sink down into that shoulder. We want to lift the bottom ribs up, and we want to find lots of length through the crown of head all the way to the toes. It can be tough to find when you're in a side lying position. You really want to go through that checklist. Are your bottom ribs lifted? Is the crown of head reaching long from the toes? And is your pelvis stable with your hips stacked? See if you can find those things in your body one by one, and it'll help you get the best results out of this move. Hold the legs together, and now we are going to do a little double leg lift. It's not a very big range of movement. It's a deep abdominal connection to pick those legs up, even just a few inches, without allowing the bottom ribs to drop. They're really going to want to. Think about the bottom ribs lifting up, rather than dropping down to the floor. Let's do 4. This is 3. This is 2. And last one. Bring the legs all the way down. We're gonna go ahead and set the yoga block off to the side, and we're gonna go into an inversion on our forearms. So don't let it frighten you. We're not gonna go all the way up into a handstand, but it's gonna prepare us to learn how to do that. So we're gonna have our forearms down on the mat. I like to make a little tripod, a little triangle with my forearms, because the crown of your head is actually gonna go down and touch the mat. Once you're there, we wanna make sure we don't load the weight into the neck. We're loading the weight into the arms and shoulders as we bring our feet into first position in a pike orientation. Heels are touching, toes are turned out. So find roundness in your spine with length. And then from here, we're just going to send the right leg up and back and turn out, and tap the right toes down. Again, the right leg. Lengthening up and back. Load the weight into the middle back rather than the neck. One more on the right side. Bring the right foot down. Now the left side. Collarbones stay wide. Weight stays out of the neck. Last 2. Last 1. And bring both knees down to the mat. And now we're going to finish with a little working stretch series. We're going to go into an archetypal postural squat kind of lunge combo. So we're going to take the left foot onto the floor, and then the knee is going to be in turnout in relation to your pelvis. And we're going to send the right leg long out to the side. So you can hold onto the floor, and that's going to help you find some support and balance as you're working, or you can try to come upright if that works better for your body today. Do whatever works for you today. And we're going to sink deeply into that hip. Think about releasing through the left hip as we hold this low posture. Stretching deeply through the right inner thigh as we stretch through the left outer hip. We're going to hold for 3 and 2. And go ahead and come up and out of there. We're going to go into a little cat-cow stretch. So we're going to bring our knees down, hands wide, feet are 4 inches apart parallel. We're going to exhale as we round the spine. Inhale as we unwind, opening the heart and gazing forward. Exhale, gratitude for your health and your body's strength to complete a workout. Inhale as you open. We're going to return back to neutral, and let's take that lunge squat on the other side. So the right foot goes in turnout, flat on the floor. The left leg comes long out to the side, and you can have your hands down if that works better for you. It works better for me to find that balance. Right foot is ideally flat, really stretching deeply through the ankle, knee, and hip joint. Stretching through the left inner thigh. Think about releasing into that right hip rather than shoving it down or forcing a stretch. Nice deep breath here for 4, 3, 2, and come on up. We're going to finish with the child's pose. Both knees are wide, big toes are touching, and we're going to extend the arms long in front of us. Take a nice deep breath here, sending length and space in between each vertebra of your spine. And slowly rise up. Beautiful job, you guys. That was so much fun.